and I'm actually Irish. I was born and bred in Dublin. And I grew up in a beautiful family. I have 7 siblings.
Wow.
Yeah. So my background, very briefly, I went off to uni and I did clinical psychology. So I'm trained in clinical psychology. An area that I'm very passionate about as well is this whole area of sleep. So you know what, we're all a bit tired, and I think, you know, a lot of these guys will come into a session and they're tired, and it's like, oh, do I have to sit here? But at the end of the day, it's about just setting the stage, setting the scene to light the fire. So they go, actually, this is actually really important. And so that's what puts a joy on my face at the end of the day when they come out saying, wow, I got a lot more out of that than I actually thought, you know? And at the end of the day, as I say, if there are 10 things that you could learn from a session, all you need to do are pick 2 and just go off and just sharpen those skills. Just see, can you work on them for at least 2 months, and you will max out how you feel or what your results are by at least 80%. I mean, that's good old Vilfredo Pareto's 80-20 rule. So,
help us understand, what are your beliefs around it? Maybe share some of your knowledge, your learnings, your lessons, what you've understood and what you've come to say, maybe this is why it's so important for us as human beings.
Look, it's interesting. I think we are only just waking up, if you pardon the pun, we are waking up to sleep, because sleep is a very, very new science. In fact, only in 2015, scientists for the first time, they discovered a system in the brain, and they called it the glymphatic system. So it's similar to the lymphatic system. It's how the body clears all the toxins, but they never knew how does the brain get rid of all the rubbish and the waste and the toxins that actually build up during the day. And they discovered that there's, because technology has improved, they were able to discover that there's a series of pipes in the brain that basically piggyback the blood vessels. And whilst we're sleeping, magic happens in the brain. It's like the street cleaners come in. You know, in big cities at nighttime, these big street cleaners come in and they hose down the streets. Well, your brain gets a big hosing down at nighttime. So whilst the cleaners are in all the cells, throwing all the rubbish bags of toxins into the alleyways, you know, the street cleaners come and they take all the debris and all the rubbish down to the liver for excretion. And it is phenomenal. But you know what? The cleaners need time to do this. And if you basically are not spending enough time sleeping, and the alarm goes off, the cleaners will say, well, we haven't quite finished the job. Look at all the rubbish, that's too bad. Well, and so basically what happens is plaque builds up on the brain. So amyloid proteins, tau proteins, plaques build up. And it's the power of sleep that actually clears those. And they've now discovered there is a direct link between plaque buildup on the brain and Alzheimer's disease. So that's just one little piece that is brand new. And it's literally, was only discovered a few years ago. But I believe people, I mean, I was just reading this morning, Jamie Oliver, you know Jamie Oliver, the chef?
Yeah.
Well, he's lost a load of weight in a very short space of time. And you know what, one of the reasons he put down to it, he said, it's not that I'm not eating. He said, I'm sleeping. All right. Now, what's really fascinating is, and he said he's eating more vegetables and he's exercising more. But you know what? It's interesting because sleep is really like the bedrock of health. It's the single most important thing you can do for your mental and physical well-being. It's been coined the Swiss Army knife of life because it fixes everything.
Wow.
But the problem is, while we're sleeping, we don't know because we're out for the count. We don't never stop to think what is happening in our minds and in our bodies. And I think if we understood the why of sleep, we would give it more priority, because in our busy lives, we're switched on 24/7. Look, there's artificial light everywhere, and we know that melatonin, which is the Dracula of darkness, it's the hormone of darkness that helps to push us down into beautiful deep sleep. Once the lights are on, it says, well, I'm out of here. So a lot of people are busy, and especially with flexible working hours, there's a sense that I'm always on. So I'm always contactable. So people are stressed, they're not able to set boundaries around their lives, and then sleep gets put on the back burner, especially if you're working long days and you're working long shifts. So what I try to teach people is, first and foremost, the why of sleep. You know, to name just a couple of things, it can, if you're interested, it can make you live longer. Andy, it'll make you look more attractive.
Wow.
Yeah, it's good for you, boosting your memory and your creativity. So again, it's understanding the time. Of course, if you understand the types of sleep and the patterns of sleep, magic happens through all of those different stages. But it's really good for it's good for your cardiovascular health, lowers your blood pressure, it protects against diabetes, it protects against cancer and dementia. It's really interesting, you know, it boosts your immune system. You know, so if you want to go and get a vaccine for the flu, for example, if you want to max out on the antibodies that your body is going to make to fight off the flu virus, you've got to make sure you have a good 7 days of good sleep before you get the vaccine, so that you can literally milk it for what it's worth. These are things people aren't often commonly aware of. It fights against stress, anxiety, depression. It's really good for your mental well-being. It's like having your own little psychologist on tap at nighttime when you're dreaming, which helps you with all the little troubles of the day. I liken to, it's like taking all these rocks that are in your life, you throw them into this crusher, and the brain releases all these lovely neurochemicals which kind of make you feel chilled. So you wake up in the morning, that rock is just like a little pile of dirt, and you go, well, I can deal with that, you know. So sleep, as you can see, I am quite interested in it, because you know what, in 2017 it cost the Australian economy $67 billion through the fallout of people not sleeping. The ripple effect is actually phenomenal. So in terms of peak performance, if you want to perform at your best, if you want to be sharp, you want to be able to get into that zone, you want to be, and again, if we look at the VUCA world we're in, we've got to be creative. We've got to be innovative. We cannot afford to sit still. And creativity is born through dream sleep. So, you know, there's lots of things that we do in our daily life. This is you know, a cup of coffee. Too many of these will interfere with your REM sleep, as will too many alcoholic drinks. And again, a lot of people will resort to alcohol when they're stressed, and other drugs just to help them kind of chill. But it actually destroys the sleep architecture, which really is what you need. Now, going back to Jamie Oliver, you say, well, how could sleep help him? Well, if you want to lose weight or you want to build muscle, if you're not getting sleep, you'll never, well, it's going to be really hard to lose weight, and it's going to be really hard to build muscle, because the cleaners in your system while you're sleeping, they're balancing all your hormones. And there's a couple of hormones that regulate your appetite. So when you wake up in the morning, if you're nicely balanced, you'll go to the kitchen and you'll pull out from the fridge some really good, nutritious, healthy food. And you'll also stop eating when you're full. So all is well. But when you're sleep deprived, they go out of whack, because the cleaners haven't had enough time to fill up the buckets, right? They're only half full. So you wake up in the morning and it's like turning into Homer Simpson. It's just, you know, you want donuts. And of course you keep eating because you're not even aware that you're full. So it's absolutely fascinating.
If you had a one tagline about sleep, what would it be?
Peak performance. I think for me, it's really understanding the secrets of sleep.
Yeah. Right.
And they have been secrets for a very, very long time. If you don't understand the why of sleep, it's like a bottle. If you look, imagine this container here, and you know, you need to drink all of this. Scientists have discovered, let's say scientists have discovered this fabulous new treatment which will revolutionize your life, your health and well-being, but you got to drink the whole cup every day. Now, it's like, if you don't understand why this is important, you might just take a few sips and say, well, that's enough. I've kind of quenched my thirst. But all of the things that I talked to you about, living longer, having better memory, creativity, fighting against cancer, dementia, boosting, all of those things, you need to drink the full cup. So if you're only going to drink half of the cup, you're only going to get half the benefits. And there's a big link between the number of years that you live and the amount of sleep that you do. There's a reason we do what we do. And also, you know, at the end of the day, it's about safety more. So basically, the body is designed to be awake for about 16 hours, and then literally it starts to shut down. So what's happening from the moment you wake up, there's a chemical in the brain called adenosine, which is the sleepy chemical, and it builds and builds and builds like an avalanche. And you know what? Especially people who are busy, too busy working, they say, I can hold back this avalanche. I'm really strong. I've got muscles. But unfortunately, that avalanche gets the better of them. And it literally just drops its load, and people have microsleeps. And there are a lot of people dying on the roads. In America, every hour a person is dying on the roads through basically fatigue. So my desire is to wake people up to the power of sleep and the importance of sleep. So many people have no idea that sleep is so important for them. And then after a session, they go, I didn't know that. And you know, it's really interesting. They then say, actually, I can share this stuff with my family as well. And especially if they've got teenagers, if they've got kids who are doing exams, man, you know, pulling the all-nighter is not good for your memory. You better off